Hey everyone, Merch Hunter Ricky back, and we're talking about One Piece chapter 1081. What an absolutely crazy chapter. I want to start off by saying that Garp absolutely outshined just about any regular hockey feat that we could see in the series, and going to Hachinosu and making a Kudo burst and landing in the way he did, absolutely phenomenal. At the start of the chapter, we see the dust settling and everyone's freaking out like, where is this ship gonna land, right? We see Prince Groose do some crazy power where called like clay ordination, where he lands the ship using like a clay, basically cushion at the back of Garp, making one of the coolest panels ever. Garp's over here talking about how he's got a dusty old fist off because he didn't do nearly enough destruction as he wanted, much to the chagrin of all the other Marines on the ship, right? Kobe makes a note almost immediately as he's running up that he's like, wow, even non-sword members came, so maybe that means Garp's not a part of sword, but we'll see, right? Maybe he could just be talking about like Tashigi and some other people, but anyways, he's very impressed with the fleet that came to help him. As he's getting closer to Garp, we see that Hibari is like, don't count your chickens just yet, because Kobe's hauling that thing around and he could die exerting so much strength. At this point, Hibari gets frozen by Aokiji, now known as Kuzan. It is then revealed he is the 10th Titanic captain of the Blackbeard pirates. Actually, this is actually the title of the chapter, Kuzan, captain of the 10th ship, or 10th Titanic captain, something like that. The crazy thing about that is, everybody kind of called it, and I feel like Oda just wanted to not confirm it because he just didn't want something so obvious to be like an early Easter egg. I feel like he wanted to keep that little bit of suspense going just so that anyone who had any doubts or anyone had any further guesses, it would keep people interested in the story going further. Now, unfortunately, I feel like that was a bad move altogether because, sorry, my TV just turned on by itself and I didn't want it to make a lot of noise. Now, unfortunately, I feel like that wasn't the best move, revealing Aokiji or Kuzan as the 10th Titanic captain. Not saying that he shouldn't be it, but I'm saying like just you should have done this a long time ago, but that's really neither here nor there, right? That's a small problem, small hiccup, if you will. Okay, so we get a flashback of how Kuzan joined the Blackbeard pirates, which, he's hanging around drinking on a certain island. They don't tell us what it is, but he is then explaining to Blackbeard, who has walked in angrily, like, hey, you froze my friends outside. And Kuzan's like, well, you know how your friends can be, so can you imagine why I froze them? And after undoing it, the freezing that is, they party a little bit, and they say you get to know someone very well while you're drinking with them, and this is kind of what happens with Kuzan and Blackbeard. They get to know each other very well, and he's making the Blackbeard pirates laugh, and I genuinely don't know if this was a plan or not of his, but long story short, after kind of talking a little bit too long with them, he starts talking about his regrets with Ohara and how he let a little girl escape. Meanwhile, Lafitte and Blackbeard are like whispering to each other, like, should we take his power? Should we kill him? And he's like, hey, you bastards, I can hear you. I heard you're hunting devil fruit users, so if you want to go, let's fight. And Blackbeard's like, wait, my pal is just being an idiot. Hey, I got a good idea. Why don't you join us? You got the wrong idea about pirates. We're not some happy bums, referencing the Straw Hats clearly, who go around being merry. No, we got our own agendas. That's what makes us free. And you're a free person now, so how do you want to live? And well, he reveals to Garp, I chose to follow Teach. I want to live free. Which, this is kind of either like a deep con, but I don't think it is, because Garp's like, you're going to do 3 things. You're going to unfreeze Hibari, you're going to unshackle Kobe, and you're going to get back in uniform. Like, wow! And Kuzan's like, I can't do that, Chief. I'm sorry. In fact, that's why I've always liked you. You're so direct, rather. And he immediately does what he did to Whitebeard in Marineford. He freezes him. He's like, Garp responds like, you jackass, you can't beat me like that. And he breaks through the ice. I feel like Kuzan was about to say something, and Garp just takes him by the mouth and throws him down to a fissure that he calls Blue Hole. Always Sunny reference, right? And that's, you know, that's actually a term for a cave that has been filled completely with seawater. But what I liked about it is, I don't know if he broke open the ground with his fist, or if with just sheer hockey, he took Kuzan and threw him into that blue hole. And I know Kuzan can freeze the water around him, but what about when he's already submerged in it, kind of knocked out? We'll see how that goes, right? At the end of the chapter, we are taken to Law and Blackbeard's fight, the penultimate finale, if you will. And I think I used that word wrong. Anyways, we figure out the winner of the fight at Winter Island. Blackbeard has soundly defeated Law. However, he has also destroyed Law's ship. And with that being said, essentially, Law cannot be a pirate anymore, per the words of Blackbeard. At this point, he starts talking about how he wants to take, what should I do with Law? Should I kill him? Should I take his fruit? And then he looks at Law, he's like, hey, you don't fancy making me an immortal, do you? And at that, hearing that, Bepo gets a little flashback to Chopper, and he says, Chopper's like, I can't guarantee it'll work, okay? But he takes this little medicine, you see the munch sound effect, and he goes sulong with no moon. That is massive. Imagine an army of minks going sulong in the middle of the day, completely blindsiding their enemies, right? But anyways, he turns into a massive polar bear. Bepo, the crazy gigantic tailed polar bear, he's got like one big bushy tail, and he's he's absolutely huge. Blackbeard is like 11 feet tall, Burgess is like, 11 feet tall around that area. He's absolutely dwarfing them, like absolutely, and he smacks all three of them, and then it looks like he picks up a rock or something and chucks it at them, picks up Law, and escapes. Law wants to go back because he doesn't want to abandon his crew, but Bepo lets him know, like, hey man, since the days of the North Blue, we found a way to survive, and we have to get you out of here because we've been through so much together. I can't let you die, Captain. So unfortunately, the narrator hits that box and says, on this day at Winter Island, the Heart Pirates were soundly defeated. So these guys, Kid, Law, the same company as Luffy? Nope, defeated. Law put up a better fight, arguably, than what Kid did, but hey, defeated. And unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles for those two members of the Worst Generation. I feel like it makes sense, though, because like I said in a couple videos before, who will win at Winter Island, Blackbeard or Law? It has to be Blackbeard because he needs credibility right now. Anything less, and he is no longer final villain or next villain material. And it feels like it's more so he's going to be the next villain rather than the final, as we are seeing that he is more and more coming to the forefront of the story. He is involved in all three major events going on right now. Hachinosu, Egghead Island, and now Winter Island. The only place he's not at yet is Elbaf. He will make his way there, mark my words. But to go back to the situation at Hachinosu, Kuzan, 10th Titanic captain, fighting his old protege Garp, he makes a remark in the chapter where he says, what are you going to do? Kill your old favorite for your new protege, or something along that line, right? So there's a hint of disdain for the military and the Navy completely by Kuzan at this point, which is why I don't know anymore. Is Kuzan conning the Blackbeard pirates, or is he legit a Blackbeard rider now? Like, he's the 10th Titanic captain, and moreover, it seems like he really does not like the Navy anymore. Like, he does not want to work with them whatsoever. And honestly, like, a means to an end is one thing, but joining Blackbeard's crew and siding with the ideals of Blackbeard, I feel like is an entirely other ballgame, right? So he's either actually gone to the Blackbeard side of things, he's not a good guy anymore at all. When he said he's still himself the smoker, like, that could just means he's not gonna, murder outright and this and that, but he's working with Blackbeard, and that's, Blackbeard is no hoe. Who knows where he's going to strike next, how, when, and where. All we know is when he does, the impact will be massive. It leads me to believe, though, if Garp can dispose of Kuzan so easily, and we don't know if he's been destroyed or not, but, getting yeeted down into the ocean is, that's kind of a big deal, right? And if it's not the ocean, it's just a fisher, then maybe the fight will continue next chapter. potentially. I believe we're going on break, but what I'm saying is Garp gonna just one-shot Shiryu, San Juan Wolf, Vasco Shot, or Avalo Pizarro? Because the thing about the Blackbeard pirates is they like to gang up on people when they can, right? I assume this is how they've been hunting Devil Fruit users over and over again, and how, I mean, like, imagine the previous user of the Buff Fruit, how did they kill him, right? The previous user of the Warp Fruit, how did they catch him? You know, these are some, you know, Island Fruit, Liquor Fruit. Where did they find these? Did the previous users, were they just chumps? Or did they get, in my opinion, they got jumped by the entire Blackbeard 10 captains, and that was that. You know, they put the work on him, and that was it. Especially if you have someone like Kuzan in your ranks, right? All in all, fantastic chapter. Really, really good stuff. It just leads me to believe that Kuzan is actually walking down a darker path because he has chosen to be this way, and not because he has some sort of long con to stop Blackbeard at the end of the day. That's just my thing. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I've been Merch Hunter Ricky. You guys have been you, which you're awesome for that. Appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. The views, the likes, the comments. Keep them coming. And have a good night, everyone.